In this session, we are going to learn about the electron transport system that occurs during the light reaction of photosynthesis. So, as we studied in the previous lecture about the light harvesting complex or the LHCs, which are also called as photosystems, where we studied about photosystem 1 and photosystem 2. There we saw that when light falls on these photosystems, the electrons get excited and they go to a higher state, and then they are accepted by the electron acceptor. Right? Now these electrons travel from one electron acceptor to the another until it is finally accepted by a single compound, which is NADP plus, and is converted into NADPH. Alright, so this whole scheme or this whole flow of electron during the light reaction of photosynthesis occurring from photosystem 2 to photosystem 1 is called electron transport chain or the electron transport system. So let us understand it in detail with the help of the diagram. So first of all, we will draw the photosystem 2, because the photosystem 2 will come first in the light reaction and photosystem 1 will come later in the light reaction. Alright, so if you remember, in photosystems the arrangement of molecule is the same in the photosystem, except for the wavelength of light that they absorb in the reaction center by chlorophyll A, right? So in the photosystem there will be light harvesting complex, and consisting of the light harvesting complex will have photosynthetic pigments to absorb light, and when the red light of 680 nanometer falls on this pigment, so this red light will be of 680 nanometer, because 680 to 700 nanometer corresponds to the red light of the visible region, and the PS2, the reaction center chlorophyll A of the PS2 absorbs 680 nanometer. It shows maximum absorption, right? So when this red light will fall on the light harvesting complex of PS2, then the electrons of the pigments will get excited and they will jump to a higher orbit and they will go to the excited states. Then these electrons will be ultimately accepted by an electron acceptor. After they reach the reaction center, from the reaction center they will be going uphill. The electrons will be traveling uphill and will be catched by an electron acceptor in the PS2. Then from this electron acceptor, the electrons will further move downhill through a system of cytochromes, and this movement of electrons or passage of electron downhill is called electron transport system. Alright, so from this electron acceptor, the electrons will further move through different cytochrome systems. This only is called constitutes the electron transport system. So the electrons are moving downhill in terms of their oxidation, reduction or redox potential. Alright, so this transfer of electron from the electron acceptor of PS2 to downhill downhill through the different proteins of the cytochrome system constitutes the electron transport chain or electron transport system. So instead of this cytochrome system, I can write here electron transport system. Let me write it properly. Now, once they reach the downhill at the base, then these electrons are not lost anywhere. The electrons that are coming from the light harvesting complex of PS2, after coming after passing through the electron transport chain, they are not lost anyway, but they come towards the light harvesting complex of the PS1 photosystem 1. Alright, here what happens, these electrons will be taken up by the pigments of the light harvesting system of PS1, and simultaneously these pigments of PS1 will absorb red light of 700 nanometer, because we know that the reaction center of PS1 absorbs the red light or shows maximum absorption at 700 nanometer only, right? So again the similar sequence of events will happen here as it occurred in the PS2. The electrons will get excited. Let me move it a bit here so that it looks proper. Yes, so the electrons will again, after absorbing energy of the red light of 700 nanometer, the electrons of the pigments will jump to the higher orbits after they get excited, and they will travel uphill again until they are accepted by an electron acceptor of a higher redox potential here, similarly as which happened in PS2. Alright, then from this electron acceptor, the electron will further start to travel downhill, but this time the electron will be accepted by a high energy NADP plus molecule, and this NADP plus molecule will now be reduced to NADPH, and H plus will be produced. Alright, so this constitutes the electron transport system. The electron transport system is nothing but the sequence of the flow of electrons once these electrons are excited by the falling incident light. So it starts from photosystem 2. When the red light falls on the light harvesting system, the electrons of the pigments get excited, and they travel uphill because they get excited. They jump to the higher orbitals, and then they are accepted by an electron acceptor, which pass these electrons downhill to electron transport system consisting of cytochromes. Then after reaching downhill, at the base of the downhill, these electrons are not lost anywhere in the way, but these electrons are passed on to the light harvesting complex of photosystem 1. Alright, and these pigments of the light harvesting system of photosystem 1 are also excited by absorbing red light of 700 nanometer. Then again these electrons will get excited, jump to their higher orbitals, and they will be accepted by an electron acceptor uphill. Then from there the downhill movement of electrons will start, but it does not continue further because the electrons will be accepted by a high energy molecule NADP plus, and this NADP plus gets reduced to NADPH, and H plus ion is produced. Alright, so if we look at the path of these electrons starting from PS2, starting from here, let me use a different color. So this scheme of electron or movement of electron from here, from PS1, then down the electron transport chain, and then again uphill in the PS1, this forms a characteristic shape, right? If you look closely, it looks like the letter Z. It looks like the letter Z. So this scheme of movement of electrons in the electron transport chain along with PS2 and PS1 is called Z scheme because of its characteristic shape of which resembles the letter Z. So it is also called as Z scheme. Alright, so I hope the electron transport system and the Z scheme is clear to you. Now if you remember, NADPH is one of the main products which is formed in the light reaction of photosynthesis. So this NADPH is formed here. This NADPH is now formed. Now we will study about the splitting of water, formation of ATP, and the further reactions that go on in the light reaction in the next session. So that's all for this lecture. Thank you so much.